All right, guys. Good day, good afternoon, good morning, good evening, whatever time you listen to this. Welcome back to another episode of I Never Knew Podcast. I'm your host, Mike G. Hey, rocking my busy life. Shout out to my homie Stan, man. Every time y'all see me on this podcast, I'm probably gonna have my busy life shirt on. I just love his clothing line. Check him out, Busy Life Clothing on Instagram. Good shit. It got good material. It makes me feel like I'm working out and buff and fit, but I don't work out. But the clothing is just that good. Like I said, this is another episode of I Never Knew podcast, bringing you new content on a regular about relationships, communication, finances, and all those other great things we as adults go through in life that we just try to figure out. Like I stated before, this podcast was mainly created by me, for me, to kind of just get information that I kind of learned through my journey of life out to others that may have no knowledge of certain things. It's no like shaming involved here. Everything that I talk about are things that I personally never knew about. And I just hope that my newfound learnings and understanding of certain things help someone else out, because I feel like that's what life is about. How can I help the next person? You know what I'm saying? Because for me personally, that gives me the fulfillment in life, just helping other people. You know what I'm saying? And I learned that about myself recently. So we're going to get into a lot of things, man. Today we're going to get into communication. And I have to admit, guys, I threw that last podcast together and I got such a good review from it, man. But one thing that you guys did tell me is that I need to pretty much stick with maybe one topic and expound on it rather. And I'm going to try to do that this podcast because, a lot of these topics, man, depending on who's listening to it or who's receiving it, it can really touch them in a way because they might, really been looking for some type of information on that. And that's what this is for, So I'm going to try to limit the topics that I kind of bring out there before I just I'll throw a lot of things out there just to get you guys' minds just thinking about certain things. But I can understand why some people think I should focus up, because quite frankly, it's a lot of things, man. It's a lot of things, and I can just, we can just go on and on about it. So today, like I said, we're going to talk about communication. And the title I kind of came up with was when keeping it 100 goes wrong. And now for some of you guys don't know what keeping it 100 means, it just means being honest with a person. And when you do that, when it goes left, when you didn't intend it for it to go left, how do you respond to that? As a man, I can honestly say that I never really been 100% as far as how I felt in a relationship that I've been in, because quite frankly, I just never really felt comfortable doing it. I always want to avoid arguments, disagreements, making someone mad, because that's my thing. I don't like people to be mad at me, and so on and so on. So if a person was doing something that I didn't really care for, I would pretty much sweep it under the rug until it gets to a point where I can no longer take it. And then that's when, boom, everything blows up and goes left, because you didn't give it time. You didn't allow that person to kind of learn about it beforehand, before it got to that point where you just hit them with it, and now it's a big mess. So we're gonna talk about that. A lot of times as men, when we bring up issues, we've gotten to a point where we just can't take it anymore. Now, for me, in the way I was brought up, I never really had a person to show me to express my feelings in the moment. You know what I'm saying? Let a person know in the moment. Everything that I've ever kind of learned was to suck it up. You know what I'm saying? Get through it, this, that, and the other. So I never really tapped into my feelings like that to be able to just express them in a way where I didn't feel some type of way about it. So now in the later years of adulthood and me dating, I've learned that is a handicap a lot of times. So I mentally made myself prepared myself to kind of get through those things, and it's been a struggle. It's been a task for me to do so, because it's not a natural thing for me at this point, because it's foreign. It's a foreign thing. How about that? It's not that it's not natural. It's just a foreign thing for me to do, because everything that I've learned, I had to unlearn it. I had to learn to just go by how I'm feeling in here and just say it, and kind of say it in a way where, it's being received and not a negative light. And that's a struggle as well, because I'm pretty blunt. So when you talk about keeping it 100, I'm really curious to hear like how many people really are comfortable doing that. Now, for women, I really feel like for you guys, it's really easy for you guys to do that because you guys are very vocal on how you feel about things. And as men, we don't understand that about you guys a lot of times. So when you do bring things to us, we think you're nagging, we think you're tripping, and this, that, and the other. When whole time all you're really trying to do is just express how you're feeling in here, not necessarily up here, because you're not really thinking that deep into it. You're just saying, hey, this is how I'm feeling right now. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not trying to come at you. I'm not trying to like make shit hard or trying to argue. I'm just letting you know where I'm at. And if as a man and you're in a position to understand the person that you're with, and you understand that this person is not always tripping and this, that, and the other, she's really just trying to just express how she's feeling, you can receive that in a better way versus a guy that never really done that. And, you know, now he's hearing it and all he's ever I can't get my words together. All he's really formulated the thoughts to go with that is the fact that when somebody says something to me that they didn't like, they're complaining. You know what I'm saying? So if you're that type of person that looks like every time somebody brings an issue to you it's about how they're feeling, and you're not tapped into your own personal, you know, emotional side, you're gonna always think that person's complaining. On the flip side of that, as men, a lot of times when we do bring up issues, we kind of like we don't deliver it the way we probably should at times, because it's such a foreign thing for us to do, and it's certain to express our feelings. We tend to do things how we feel like it should be done. A lot of times we'll just come out and say things. Sometimes we'll do it at the wrong time, the wrong way. I recently had an issue where it's just what I had feelings that I was going through with a certain individual, and instead of talking them out with them, I just pretty much got all in my head about it and just said things, you know, and it was received in the wrong way. And not to mention that I didn't speak to them, I text them. We're going to get into that as well. Texting thing about how we feel. So as men, like I say, we usually when we do tap into that emotional side, by being such a foreign thing for us to do because of how our upbringing was and whatnot, we tend to just drop the ball on that. The truth of the matter is that a lot of times men, we just don't want to argue, you know, so we'll just hide our feelings as best as possible. And we also, like I said, we don't want to feel weak in a moment. You know, we don't want a person looking at us as if we're soft and this, that, and the other, you know, and that narrative is slowly changing, I'm thinking, as far as men expressing themselves and not feeling any kind of way about it. But you know, the generation that I came up in, when you do that, when you cry, or if you show too much of your emotional side, you're being soft and you get ridiculed for it. And it's not necessarily about other men. A lot of times it's about the women, you know, and that's just me being honest, you know, not trying to come at women in that light. But a lot of times we try to hide that so we won't be ridiculed by women. And it's just one of those things where it's like, ugh, it's a tough thing. So when we do it and we do it the way we think we should do it and we mess up, a lot of times it backfires on us. And then we get the woman that may not have received it the way we do, and they blow up on us, which in turn makes us think like, yo, I shouldn't have said nothing. I shouldn't have said a thing, because if I didn't say nothing, none of this would have been like it is. None of this would have happened. None of this would have played out the way it did. I can't tell you how many times I've dealt with a woman and they'll tell me like, hey, just be 100, be real, just be honest. You know what I'm saying? I value our friendship over anything. Be upfront, be honest. And while that sounds fantastic, you know what I'm saying? A lot of times it don't really work out in your favor when you do that. And let me explain. When I hear a person tell me like, hey, be honest, be upfront, give me an option, you know, let me know what's going on so I can decide. That is 100% how it should be all the time. Everybody should have a decision to make. Everybody should be able to make a decision on what they want to do going forward with a person by having the truth in front of them. When you're dating someone and you really like them, if it's little things about them that you don't really like, but you're fighting through it to kind of, you know, see if you can get through it, because the the good outweigh the bad in that situation. You try to not, as a man, I'm talking as a man, you try not to complain or just trip about a lot of things. You just kind of suck it up. But once it gets to the point where you kind of like can't do it anymore, or you learn that, hey, maybe this isn't meant for us as far as us being in a relationship. I still value you as a friend. You know what I'm saying? I still value you as a good person. That can really backfire on you in a sense. Now, when I say backfire, some people are like, what do you mean? So I don't know about other people, but for me, like I say, if I look at you as a friend, or if I look at you as a person that I really appreciate, and we end up dating, and then at the end of it, we fall out. Remember, I don't like people not to like me. You know what I'm saying? And maybe that's a ego thing. Maybe that's an insecurity thing. Maybe, I don't know what it is. You know, maybe somebody can tell me. But when I try to be honest with a person, and then it backfires on me in a way where a person just does not mess with me anymore, I feel some type of way about that. And slowly I'm getting over it the older I get, because I understand, like, in life, everything that you come in contact with isn't meant to be there forever. Sometimes it's for a moment, and you learn something from it, and you progress from there. You know what I'm saying? However, it's easier said than done, because when you are really locked in with a person, but they have certain things that you kind of can't get through, and you've made the decision to start dating them and feelings get involved, it's very hard to just suck it up and be like, all right, I learned my lesson from you. Peace out. I'm going to move to the next one, or I'm just going to go ahead and progress in life, and thanks for everything you've done for me. No, it's very difficult, especially for a person like myself, who I'm not out here trying to piss people off. You know what I'm saying? I'm not, but I also have things about myself that I realize that I have to work on in order to not piss people off. It's a very thin line when you talk about just being 100% with people. Like I say, women are easy. It's easier for you guys because you're really locked into your emotions. You're locked into what you want. A lot of men, because we think logically so much and we're always in our head, a lot of us we're not together enough to know what it is that we truly want. Now, that may sound like crazy to some women. They be like, "Oh, that's the problem. Y'all need to figure out what y'all want." And you're absolutely correct. You're absolutely correct. But one thing as a man, that especially living in society now, is that we can't really voice exactly what we want out of fear of being labeled as certain things like feminist, or just like, women haters, or this, that, and the other, or something like that. So a lot of times we just try to conform. And I really feel like men, when they really find the one they want, they do a lot of conforming. When I say conforming, they do a lot of changing up their ways to kind of just roll with the woman that they really truly like. You know what I'm saying? Out of fear of losing them. Yes. Don't get me wrong, women, I do understand you guys do a lot of sacrificing and a lot of changing it up as well. But I really think when it comes down to it, men do it a little bit more for that woman that they really, really, really like. So when you talk about being blunt and honest, a lot of times we won't do it because we just don't want to mess it up. We just don't want to mess it up. It's also about knowing who you're dealing with as well when you are being 100 with them. Because you can't approach everybody the same way with your honesty, because it's just not going to stick with them very well, depending on the person. I have some people in my life that I can literally just tell them how it is, and they respect it because they understand who I am and where I'm coming from, and just my intentions on telling them that. It's not like Mike's being an asshole or he's being a dickhead. He's just one of those, he's just telling me how it is. But then I have other people that I have to kind of coddle them a little bit, and I have to kind of tailor what I have to say or how I feel to them, because they're going to take it personal. And that's when you really have to understand who you're dealing with. It's a very dynamic thing, but it's something that we really need to figure out and tap into, because being honest in any situation is the only option. You know what I'm saying? And if you're not comfortable being honest with people that are in your life, i.e. people that you're dating, you're going to have a lot of issues down the line when it's time to be honest. You know what I'm saying? You can only get off the lies so long. You can only fake the fact that you like them, but you don't like the fact that they've got makeup everywhere. Or you don't like the fact that he don't get his hair cut on a regular basis, or you don't like the fact that she has a dog, or whatever your thing is, you're only going to be able to get away with that for so long before that truth has to come out. And the longer you wait, the worse it's going to get, because you're going to let other things add up as well. So that one little thing that you probably could have got out earlier, and y'all probably could have separated or went your separate ways, or not even progressed to where you are now. Once you get deeper into that, that little thing that was 5 months ago is now a big thing, because you've caught up, you put that with 7 other things now. So now you've got all this long list of things that aren't really that bad, but now you have 7, which looks like it's a lot, because you weren't 100 and being honest with it. Now it's a big issue. Now you're about to have this boom effect of emotions and stuff at that moment. And for men, we have to understand, like, we can't do that. We can't just hide our feelings about things. We got to speak on it. And the men that do it, cool. Salute to you. Salute. And I look at you guys as my guy, because I respect the guy that really, like, speaks his mind when it comes to people and relationships and stuff. You know, like I say, even in business, like, I'm not the step up and just speak my mind kind of person. I'm gonna sit back and chill and just feel the room out and just roll with what everybody's doing, versus being like, nah, this ain't working for me. I don't like it, you know, because I don't know how to do that in a respectful way, almost, because for me it's like, oh, I just gotta, like, say it. I gotta say it. And when it comes off maybe as arrogant or dismissive or something like that. When no, it's really not. It's just me really being honest about where I'm at with it. Like I said, women and men handle those things differently. As a man, it's very, very difficult. It's very difficult, depending on your upbringing, and everything rolls back to your upbringing, on focusing in and just dealing with truth a lot of times. Because, like I say, and it always goes back to egos. It always goes back to egos, and nobody wants their ego hurt or crushed, you know. So when I say, like, when we tend to be honest and speak our feelings, we don't want the conflict. So what we normally do, what do? We'll text. We'll text it, you know. Maybe back in the day, we'll write a letter. I don't know. Maybe letters might be the move. Maybe when we get in our feelings, we might want to pick up a pen and paper and write it in letter form, because maybe that may hit them a little different. Like, you took time to write this letter. He's got to really mean it. But no, we text, which is the most informal way to inform somebody of how you feel, because you can get that twisted. You know, when you're texting people real stuff, real true feelings or real things, it's not really a good thing, because they can misunderstand what you're saying completely, and you can't rebut it or you can't clean it up, because guess what? It's through text. And once a person gets in their feelings about what they just read in that text, there's no really coming back from that. No matter how many times you want to just talk and get it out the way and clear it up, there's no real coming back from that. So as men, we have to understand, like, you know, when we are tasked to deal with an issue with our significant others, we have to man up, which, you know, I hate using terms like that, but we have to be real with ourselves and real with that person, and just come at them one-on-one, face-to-face, and let them know how we feel, and hope. Because you can't control how a person feels about what you have to say about them or anything. And hope that you've expressed yourself in a way where they respect it. They don't have to like it. Understand, nobody has to like any decision or anything that you do in life. Nobody has to like anything. You don't have to like anything about me or that I say anything, but you shall respect me. Respect is never a compromising situation. It is always expected, and it always shall be given until otherwise. So I give you a reason not to respect me. You know what I'm saying? Because that's just something I don't play with, which no one should play with. So you just hope that they respect what you have to say, and they get through what you say, how they get through it. And hopefully it's a dialogue where they ask questions for more clarity if they don't have it or whatnot. But at the end of the day, you have to be patient and understand that whatever you deliver, even though you are trying to be as clear and open as possible, it may backfire, but you have to understand why. Because when you hit somebody with an emotional type thing, they're going to get emotional too. And whether women, y'all want to hear it or not, y'all are some emotional firecrackers, and y'all will pop, especially if your feelings are hurt in those situations. And as men, we definitely have to sit back and let y'all have that moment. We got to let you have that moment. You know what I'm saying? And the same thing goes for guys. You know, we emotional firecrackers too, but, you know, we just show it differently. We kind of shut down, you know what I'm saying, or whatnot. And then later on in life, we start spazzing. Then, it's just how that works. It's just funny. We do our shit on the back end. Y'all do it on the front end. It's just weird how that works. I'm gonna talk about that in another podcast as well. How men and women deal with emotional letdowns and stuff like that. That's a really interesting dynamic on how opposite we are when we do that. And it makes a lot of sense, especially through my experiences through relationships. But anyway, like I said, you have to be open and honest and be able to understand and respect what that person is going through in that moment when you do drop that bomb on them about how you feel, especially if it's something where it's like you are telling them you no longer want to be with them. But that goes back to the topic of this discussion is like when you keep it 100 and that person say keep it 100 because I value our friendship and I never want to lose it. When you be real with them and then they tell you, oh, screw you, I never want to talk to you again, get lost. How's that work? Like, how does that work? Because as a man, like I can honestly say everybody I've ever dated, except maybe for one person, I won't say their name, I could hang out with them at any moment because I understand that they are good people, but we just didn't work out. And like I say, I'm never shy to say mainly because of myself and how I was and probably still am to this day to a point. But it's an understanding. It was an understanding in my opinion, in my viewpoint that, hey, that just wasn't going to work. But I still like you and I still respect you as a person, and if you want to hang out or if you want to call me and talk to me about something in the future or whatever, I'm here. But when a person really like tells you like, yo, I don't ever want to talk to you again, when they already say like, hey, if you be real with me, be real, we can stay cool. I just value that. That is not always the truth. And I just really want women to be honest about that. Like, can you really do that? Can you really like date a person and then you guys figure out like, hey, you know what? This ain't really for us. This is not going to work for us. Let's just be friends. Can that happen once you get to a point in dating where you start really having strong feelings for that person? Can that really happen? I don't know. I don't think it can. I don't think you can. I've never been one to like cut people off and just delete people or this, that, and the other, because I always feel like, I don't burn bridges, unless it's something crazy, which I've never had that experience. But if it's something crazy, I can understand you getting that person the hell up out of here. But for the most part, I never got to a point where I just cut people off because I'm like, you never know where down the line that person may come back into your life for another reason. You know what I'm saying? Because like I say, everybody comes into your life for a reason. God made it that way. You know what I'm saying? And that's just how it is. It's how you have to look at it. And everybody's not there to stay there forever, no matter how great they are. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes their stint is short. They could be the greatest thing ever, but it's a short stint. And you have to accept that and not force it, because you don't want to force relationships. You don't want to force them at all. Because if there are things that you really cannot deal with from a person, you have to be honest and upfront and truthful about it and let them know about that. You know what I'm saying? Does that mean you shouldn't compromise a little bit when relationships come about and you find a person you like, and you shouldn't find a way to try to work through certain things? No, that doesn't mean that at all. You should definitely do that, because no one is perfect. No one is perfect. And anybody that thinks they're perfect, you should never try to date that person, because you will never get anywhere with that person. But if you deal with a person that has a couple of flaws or things in your eyes that you can't really see eye to eye with, speak on it. Because who knows? They might be willing to change it. And you don't want them to change the integrity of who they are. But if it's little minute things, hey, talk to them about it. Maybe you never know what may happen. But if you don't say anything, all you're going to do is do yourself a disservice and them as well, because in the long run, you're going to end up hurting their feelings, because here they are thinking they're all good. I get my hair cut once every two months and I'm thinking I'm straight. And you just like, oh no, I hate it. I hate your mustache. I hate that. And you're not saying that. I hate your wig, lady. I hate when you wear those wigs or this, that, and the other. And you just letting it go. And then all of a sudden you say something about it. And it's like, what? But you ain't say that back when we first met and all this and da. And you don't want to get to that point. You want to be honest. You want to be able to talk to that person like you talk to any of your good friends. Because at the end of the day, if you are trying to build something with a person, if you want to be with a person and really advance with them, y'all have to be friends. Y'all got to be. People say this is my best friend, which is amazing. But I don't feel like that's a necessary thing. But if you can get to that level, which I strongly recommend you do that, And the only way to do that is be honest, because to be honest with you, your best friend knows everything about you. And I want my spouse or my mate to understand and know everything about me within reason. There's certain things you don't need to fucking know about, because that's my past. And my past gonna stay there. Okay, it ain't got nothing to do with you. Mind your goddamn business. However, like I said, like you should be open. I should be able to come in the house and talk to you about anything. Anything. You know what I'm saying? And that doesn't mean you should be able to go through my phone and do all this, because that's my personal space. You know what I'm saying? Because respect is layers to respect. You know what I'm saying? Respect and trust go hand in hand, in my opinion. I trust and respect you until you give me a reason not to. You know what I'm saying? That's just how life should be. If everybody had that mindset that I trust and respect every human being walking this earth until you give me a reason not to. You know what I'm saying? If everybody did that, this world would be a great place to live. You know what I'm saying? But we don't respect and trust people, and that's, like I say, that's got a lot to do with a lot of things, but mainly your upbringing, where you came from, how you view things. You know, but like I say, it's a very touchy thing. But I just want to know what y'all think. You know, should you be men? Should you be 100 with the person and not be afraid of how they're gonna respond? And women, do you really think you could be cool with a person and then later down the line they tell you some stuff you don't want to hear and you can still be cool with them? Like, can you really do that? Is that really a realistic thing? Because I hear it all the time. And maybe it's just me. I don't know. Maybe I'm just a friend guy. You know, I'm starting to think that's who I am. I'm starting to think I'm just a cool friend guy. Like, you just be cool and friendly. We hang out with Mike, but dating Mike, I don't know. I'm trying to get it together, y'all. I swear. I always tell people I'm not getting married till I'm 40. I still got 3 years left to get my shit together. You know what I'm saying? Because 40, I've been saying this since I was 16. Like, I'm not getting married till I'm 40. That's when I think I'm gonna be ready, and it's looking like that's a reality. So hopefully, I'm just not the friend guy, the guy you can talk to and everything, but you can't date. You know, and I feel like there's a lot of people like that. You know, but is a reality to keep it 100 with a person later in life, or as far as dating, and y'all can still be cool afterwards? Let me know, man. I know it seems. I hope this didn't come out crazy and sounds crazy. I hope I didn't jump around and not make good points. I going back to my other podcast, you know, I'm really insecure about this thing, especially even looking at a camera while I talk, because I feel like people looking at me and stuff. But I'm trying to get through it. I try to prepare as best as I can, and then I just let my thoughts come at me as I go. So, like I say, if it's anything that you guys think I could do better, let me know, man. I swear to y'all, I take your opinions into consideration, and I truly appreciate them. You know what I'm saying? Your feedback means a lot to me. I don't know. I just want to be able to just talk to as many people as I can. And if, like I said before, if I help one person out, cool, man. That's so cool to me. You know what I'm saying? Because some people just need to hear certain things from other people that they're not really connected to, just to understand, like, I'm not the only one going through these type of things. But like I said, communication is key, guys. Like, I don't care who you are, man. Get together. Hang out with your friends, man. Let your friends know what's going on in your life, you know? If you don't want to talk to your friends about it, go talk to a complete stranger about it. I don't know. Go to the park, sit on the bench, talk to the old man or woman sitting there feeding the birds. Everybody's out here going through something. And you know what I'm saying? And you keeping it in, it's not going to help. That's why you need to practice on just letting your emotions out, letting your feelings out, letting them be shown. You know what I'm saying? Because the more you hide them, the more you kind of pack them in, all it's going to do is hinder you from being the best version of yourself. And everybody should want to manifest to the higher being of themselves, man. You know, you don't want to be stuck in a lower form of yourself because you're scared. You know what I'm saying? How comfortable are you being uncomfortable? And that's going to be something we're going to talk about as well. We're going to talk about that. How comfortable are you being uncomfortable? Because that's the only way to grow. That's the only way to grow. You got to be comfortable with being uncomfortable. So guys, let me know what you think. You know, I'm definitely going to do another podcast tomorrow. I got some free time, you know, working slow right now. So I got some free time. Like I say, shout out to everyone that listens and looks forward to these things, man. I just got to get to it, you know. So once again, shout out to Busy Life, man. I love your products, Stan. Keep them coming, man. Can't wait for your fashion show. Other than that, guys, it's another episode I Never Knew podcast. like I say, I really truly appreciate you guys, man. I want you guys to have a great day. Think about it, man. Let me know what y'all think about what we just talked about. Peace.